Hello students, it's Nazia Begum here, your physics lecturer, welcoming you all in today's lecture. So, before starting our next topic in chapter 3, I want to clear some doubts of the students which they have asked me in WhatsApp. Okay. So, from first chapter, many are having a doubt that whether the laws of conservation are coming in exam or not. So, yes, from first chapter, with the four fundamental forces, these laws of conservation are also very important. So in today's lecture, I will tell you the laws of conservation from the first chapter. Okay. So the first law of conservation is related to law of energy, law of conservation of energy. What this law said? According to this law, the sum total of all energy in the universe is constant. That is, the energy remains constant in the universe. So energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form into another. A very good example of that is the cell which we use in our clock or remote control, etc. Inside the cell, electrolytes are filled there, okay, which are having the chemical energy. When we use the cell, that chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. Similarly, when we use any heating device like iron, heater, etc., so that electrical energy is converted into heat energy. Okay, if we use electric bulb, etc., so the electric energy is converted into light energy. And in stereo tapes, etc., telephone, etc., the electric energy is converted into sound energy. So here in whatever examples I have told you, we have not created any energy. Okay, we have simply changed one form of energy into another form. So this is the law of conservation of energy, that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only change its form. So the total energy in the universe is constant. The second law of conservation of linear momentum. Okay, this is the second law of conservation. So it states that in the absence of an external force, the linear momentum of a system remains unchanged. In class 9th, you all have studied about momentum. What momentum is? Momentum equals to mass into velocity. Momentum is a very important physical quantity because it tells about the motion of the object. Okay. By simply the velocity, we cannot define the motion of the object. We cannot perfectly express the motion. But with momentum, we can. And momentum equals to mass into velocity. According to the law of conservation of linear momentum, in any system, whatever process is going on, if external force is not applied, so that time the total linear momentum of the system or of the process will remain constant. Suppose two objects are there, suppose two balls are there, okay, they are moving with a certain speed, so they both are having some momentum. Okay, so suppose that both the ball collides with each other, and after collision their velocity changes. Okay, so that time also, if their individual momentum changes, that time also their total momentum will remain same. If suppose before the collision, the first ball is having a momentum of 10 unit and second ball is having a momentum of 20 unit. So total momentum is 30 here. Okay. After collision also, their total momentum will be 30 unit only. Yes, it is possible that the individual momentum can change. Okay, like initially one was having 10 unit, another was having 20 unit. So after the collision, Maybe both are having 15 unit, or 12 and 18 unit, or 13 or 17 unit, means their individual momentum can change, but the total momentum of the system means when we are studying about the two balls, that two ball together make a system. So the total linear momentum of the system will remain constant. In next chapters, we are going to study about the application of conservation of linear momentum in detail. Here you just know about the definition and how it works. Then our third law is about law of conservation of angular momentum. Now what is angular momentum? About linear momentum you all know, that is mass into velocity. Okay. So when any object is moving in a straight line, its momentum is called linear momentum. But when an object is moving in circular motion, so that time its momentum is called as angular momentum. In next chapters, when we will study about this circular motion, then we will discuss about angular momentum in detail. Right now, you only have to be concerned about the conservation of angular momentum. So like linear momentum, similar formula, similar law will be used here. Formula not, sorry, similar law will be used here, as if there is no external force in any system, the total angular momentum of the system will remain constant. For example, when planets revolve around the sun in elliptical orbits, they maintain their orbital plane and angular momentum in this plane in constant. So whenever any object is moving in circular motion and no external force is applied to the object, so that time the total angular momentum of the object will remain constant. Formula for angular momentum is given here in front of you, that is momentum of inertia into angular speed. So all these terms, what is momentum of inertia, what is angular speed, that we will discuss in further next topics. Then the last law of conservation is related to conservation of charge. According to this law, charge can neither be created nor be destroyed, but can only be transferred from one body to another. Okay? So it means whatever body exists in the universe, they all are made up of electron, proton and neutron, etc. So when any kind of interaction is there between two bodies, so the electrons, that is the charges, can be transferred from one body to another. Okay, but they can neither be created nor destroyed. If any object becomes negative, it doesn't mean that the object has produced electrons. It means from somewhere the electron transferred to that object. Okay. Similarly, when the object gets positively charged, it doesn't mean the object have lost or destroyed the electrons, but the object have simply transferred its electron from itself to any other object. So these are the four laws of conservation. Then one more doubt is there which students have asked me, that is about the Planck's constant. In revision, I have given one MCQ, that what is the dimensional formula of Planck's constant, and students are confused about that. So let me clear that doubt first. You all know one formula of energy, that is force into displacement. But when we are talking about the energy of photons, and now what are photons? Photons are the small bundle of energies. When the light travels, it travels in a straight line in form of a ray, but that ray is not a constant ray, but in that ray small bundles of energies are there, and each bundle is called as photon, and each photon is having some amount of energy. Okay, that energy is given by h nu. Here this h and this is nu, where nu is the frequency and h is the Planck's constant. Okay, About the energy of photon, first Planck has told us. Planck is the name of one scientist, and he has given us one constant that is called as Planck's constant. Okay. Actually, the energy of photon is directly proportional to the frequency. So when we remove the directly proportionality sign, we need one constant. So here this is the constant which is called as Planck's constant. So E equals to h nu. That means h equals to E upon nu, where E is energy and nu is the frequency. So if we have to find out the formula, dimensional formula of h, we should know the dimensional formula of E and nu. By putting the value dimensional formula of energy and frequency and then solving it, we get this one. So this is the dimensional formula of Planck's constant, ml2 t minus 1. I hope now your doubts are cleared. So now let's move to the next topic of third chapter, that is velocity. What is velocity? You all know it very well. Velocity of an object is defined as the displacement of a body per unit time. So here velocity depends on displacement. Okay, the rate change of displacement with time is called the velocity. So here you can see velocity equals to displacement upon time interval, or v equals to s upon t. Okay, distance is also having the same formula. Sorry, not distance but speed. Okay, speed is what? Speed is defined as the total path length, that is distance covered by an object in unit time. So the formula of speed is path length covered upon time taken, that means distance upon time taken. Okay, so here we have taken distance, which is the scalar quantity. So speed also is a scalar quantity. Okay, and its unit is meter per second, and dimensional formula is ml1 m0 l1 t minus 1. Here velocity does not depend on distance, but it depends on displacement, which is a vector quantity, as we have discussed in previous lecture. Okay, so because displacement is a vector quantity, so velocity also is a vector quantity. The symbol for velocity and speed is same, as distance and displacement also is same. Only one thing is different here, that is when we represent the speed and distance, there is no vector sign, but when we represent velocity and displacement, there will be vector sign. Okay, rest all things are same unit and same dimensional formula. Like speed, velocity is also having same unit. SI unit is meter per second, and dimensional formula is m0 l1 t minus 1. This is it for today's lecture. In next lecture, we will discuss about speed and velocity in detail, and acceleration also we discuss, and some other interesting concepts related to motion. Till then, goodbye, take care, and do some productive work.